Hello everyone, my name is Zam and welcome back to another video. Today we are reacting to the brand new Master Duel pack and seeing maybe what it could do to the NR format. This is the Wings of Guardians React. So to begin with, we have Pisces, Moonlight of the GHOTI. More GHOTI support is kind of interesting considering that GHOTI recently has been getting some eyes from some popular people such as Lemon Yu-Gi-Oh! If this card is normal or special summon, you can add a fish monster from your deck to your hand, then banish a fish monster from your hand or face-up field. That's already pretty good. If this card is banished, you can banish a fish from your hand, graveyard, or face-up field, special summon this card. So this card has quite a bit of recursion as well. I am very impressed with Pisces. I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to have a lot of words on it. Also, apologies if the audio is a bit weird. I'm not in my normal setup right now. Next, we have Junk Dragonlet, a level 5 Earth Machine. If you control a Synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's a once per turn special summon. If a Synchro declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard. That monster gains 800 until the end of this turn. Okay, so this is pack filler, but it's kind of cool. I like seeing junk cards, and especially cards that could be used alongside the actual other junk cards. It would be bad, but it would be funny. I think if I were to see this in any serious capacity, maybe in a Cipher deck, maybe GHOTI. I mean, yeah, obviously it's an Earth Machine, so you're not going to be playing it in GHOTI, but it is an Earth Machine. So assuming Earth Machine decks like Infinitrack can make Synchro monsters, this definitely qualifies. We have Burgundy the Magic Elf. I have never seen this card before in my life. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is an interesting wording. If a card is discarded from your opponent's hand by a card effect while this card is in the monster zone, you can inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each discarded card. That seems like a very old school effect. I'm not sure how often that's gonna be happening unless your opponent is playing Dark Lords, I guess. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, oh, you can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Okay, this seems very bad. It seems funny, but bad. This is like worse pack filler than Junk Dragonlet. Like, nothing's seeing this. This is going to be lost in a pile of junk. Sadly to say, because the art's kind of neat, and the name is kind of cool. Next, we have Principug. You can target a monster you control with Guardian in its original name that cannot be normal summoned or set. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Guardian monster in your graveyard that cannot be normal summoned or set, and activate one of these effects to either add it to your hand or add one other card that is mentioned on that monster from your graveyard to your hand. This supports the regular, like, Guardians, correct? I believe so. Let me try to find it. Cannot be summoned unless you control a face-up Rod of Chaos. Okay, so I believe that's what it's referring to, because it's also talking about the equip spells. So, yeah, Guardian support. That's kind of cool. I think you can use this with some of the Gate Guardian stuff if you had the fusions, but we don't have the fusions. So sadly, we can't make too much of this. Also, if it seems like there's a lot of new cards, then right here is where we do the cutoff, arbitration of white. Eye of Illusion. If you control an illusion or spellcaster monster, activate one of these effects. It can't be destroyed by battle, although most illusions already have that. During your opponent's turn, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target face-up monster your opponent controls, except the attacking monster. Change the attack target to it. Okay, so this is attack guidance armor. Interesting. I think it's kind of neat, and I can already see down here we got one illusion. Emissary from the House of Wax, and we will cover that in a minute. See, I don't know. I feel like this card could maybe be good in Mutant, because it is just, it's enemy controller without the tribute cost, at least in terms of utility for interruption. So, you know, maybe a 1 or 2 of in Mutant, because if you don't know, the Mutant Mist that people use in NR is actually a spellcaster, which is why you can use the Sinful Spoils Rasila to inflict a lot of damage. And by inflict damage, I don't mean actual damage, I mean absolutely decimate your opponent's board. Next, we have Guardian of the Voiceless Voice. If a non-ritual monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Skull Guardian from your hand or deck. We can activate this card. Let's go. We actually have the original Skull Guardian, I believe. If I type in Skull, come on, there we go. Skull Guardian. I am so excited we can use this voiceless card. This is hilarious, and I love Skull Guardian. You can send this face-up card from the spell and trap star into the graveyard, the entire ritual monster you control. It gains attack equal to the total original attack of all other monsters currently on the field until the end of the turn. So, it's interesting to me to think that this card almost reminds me of like a bad form of Odd-Eye's Arc Rebellion Dragon. So if you've never seen Odd-Eye's Arc Rebellion Dragon, Arc Rebellion, this card is used in tandem with Raider's Knight to inflict a lot of damage in OTK. It can't be destroyed by card effects, you can attach material from this card, and it only is the one that can attack, and it gains attack equal to the attack of everything else on the field. And if it has a Dark Xyz monster as material, it negates everything else. So it's going to go up, assuming you're going second, to like 10,000, 12,000 attack, and then slap something, because it's starting at 3,000. So it kind of reminds me of that Skull Guardian OTK, I suppose. So here, let me just quickly add in the filters again. Rare, and then release date, there we are. And I think that's kind of cool. Guardian of the Voiceless Voice for OTK strategies with Skull Guardian. That sounds hilarious. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think that's going to be the purpose of this. But it is fun. Next, we have Radiance of the Voiceless Voice. Shuffle one light ritual monster, warrior, or dragon, or a ritual spell from your hand or graveyard into the deck. If you do, add to your hand or special summon a Voiceless Voice monster. I don't believe we have any of... Oh, we have one. Okay. So that's interesting, and we have a lot of warrior and dragon rituals, but it needs to be light. So no Lord of Dragon, not Lord of Dragons, what is it? Red Eyes Lord. None of that for us. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light ritual monsters, warrior, or dragon you control. Destroy this card, and as many of those as possible. That's interesting. I don't know how good that is. But I'm also just thinking about the situation of if you're playing a deck like this, if you're trying to play NR Voiceless, I don't think you will be able to. But it's interesting, it's worth a shot. Next, we have Raid Raptor Glorious Bright. Control a Raid Raptor monster. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, or if you control a Raid Raptor Xyz monster, target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate that card's effect until the end of the turn. Okay, so it's a Raid Raptor negate. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Raid Raptor that's banished or engraved, add it to hand. I don't know what we can do with Raid Raptors in NR. I know a lot of their Xyzes are not here, but we have like a decent amount of main deck. So maybe we could make use of this? I don't know, it feels like you'd have to sabotage your board a bit just to make use of this, because instead of making an Xyz monster, you have to leave a Raid Raptor on field. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But it is an interesting card, nonetheless, somewhat strong. Next we have Soravis Dragon Sage, the Voiceless Voice. You can special summon this card from your hand by shuffling 2 spells from your hand or graveyard into the deck, including a ritual spell. So, interesting enough, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can turn this card to the hand, special summon a light warrior or dragon ritual from your hand or deck, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase of the next turn. Okay, so now this is the part where we are going to immediately type in light. We are going to type in warrior. We are going to type in dragon, and we are going to type in ritual. And we have 4, oh, wait, that's it? Oh, that's it. Oh, that stinks. Okay, so none of these are good. Skull Guardian's funny. You might actually play a couple of Skull Guardian. However, Chuchulain the Awakened is bad. Paladin of Photon Dragon is bad. And we can't even summon Galaxy Eyes. This one, we also can't summon. Okay, so, sadly, the Voiceless Voice ceiling is very, very low. But, fun to look at anyways. Soravis can cheat one out from the deck. This one can cheat out Skull Guardian. Skull Guardian is definitely the best option we've got. Next, we have Raid Raptor Noir Lanius. During your main phase, if it was normal special in this turn, you could add a Raid Raptor in your you control, add a Raid Raptor with a different level from deck to hand. Okay, so this can set up 2 link material, I suppose. You manage this card from your graveyard, increase or decrease the level of all Raid Raptors you control by 1. Interesting, so you can turn the 3s into 4s and the 4s into 3s. Not bad, not bad at all. I don't really have much to say about this, because I don't think many people play the level 3 Raid Raptors, but they might start, maybe 1 or 2, not sure. White Sunfish. If this card is in your hand, you can try a level 4 or lower fish monster in your graveyard with the same name as the card you control. special summon this card and special summon that monster. If it's special summoned from the graveyard, you can treat it as a tuner. I don't know how often this is going to come up. Maybe you could revive a shift with it. Maybe, I don't know, late game GHOTI is kind of unknown to me, but I know it plays kind of a grind game. I used to play it a little bit. But I think White Sunfish could be interesting. I don't think it's going to be good enough to make the cut, though. Definitely with Pisces in the mix, it's probably not as good. Next, we have Emissary from the House of Wax. I believe this is our first illusion monster. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. At the end of your opponent's battle phase, you can activate this effect until your opponent's next battle phase. All attack position monsters they control cannot change their battle positions or be used as material for anything, and their effects are negated. This card is stronger than I think people think. What I think is cool about this card is that you can counter a large board and it becomes a bunch of beat sticks, and it's much harder to beat over a bunch of beat sticks than it is to beat over a bunch of actual monsters. Now, there is one problem with this, and it's that a lot of NR's power for end boards also comes from the back row, not just monster effects. So you're not really stopping that. I'm not too sure what Emissary could do. I think it could be better, but I'm not sure. It doesn't target, so you can actually negate Magispectors, which could be kind of interesting for some sort of like counter Magispector deck, I guess. I don't know. Finally, we have Arbitration of White. You can target a fish you control. It's treated as a tuner this turn. This is a continuous trap, by the way. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard one fish monster, change all monsters your opponent controls to defense position. That's not bad. I don't think that effect is as bad as it seems, because you can use it to blank a battle phase, basically, unless your opponent has links. But, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how well that effect would play out. I don't know if it would make the cut, or if it would just be a cool effect. If your fish monster is destroyed by battle or sent to your graveyard, you can send this face-up card from your spell trap zone to the graveyard, special summon a fish from your graveyard. Okay. Now, I'm a little underwhelmed, if I'm being honest. I don't know if this would make the cut over anything like GHOTI Fury, but it definitely is something to think about. I think that second effect especially. Not that first effect. That first effect doesn't really seem to come up too often. At least as far as I'm aware. You could get a really high-level tuner, though, which is kind of cool, but we don't have Bish Balkan or anything, so... Overall, interesting set of cards. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, other than GHOTI has some new tools, Raid Raptor has a new card, and Voiceless Voice is technically functioning, which is really, really funny, even though the best ritual monster to summon with Soravis is worse than Soravis. But I might actually try to make it work. I am kind of curious if I can play Skull Guardian, which would be kind of cool. And, you know, bad Voiceless Voice is still funny. So, stay on the lookout for that. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching. My name is Vam, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.